Just before dawn the following morning, Vala stood beside the sheet-covered corpse in Belix's study. The blood spreading out from the head had already begun to dry on the cloth. "Who is it?" Vala asked. "Jurgen, the blacksmith. He could barely speak when he came to my door. Only said a few words before he passed on, but that was more than enough."
"What did he say?"
"Huh?" Belix was a relic of a man, thin and stooped, and hard of hearing despite his overgrown ears. His discomfort in her presence was palpable.
"The smith's words.
What were they?" Vala asked louder.
"Oh."
The healer attempted to pull back the sheet, but the drying blood held it fast. Belix yanked and the cloth came free, revealing a weathered man, one half of his head misshapen from the blow.
"He said, my boy did this to me."
Vala was silent for a long moment, looking, and there was the sensation again, the worrisome notion that she was forgetting something important. She pushed it to the back of her mind, focusing once again on the situation at hand, on the dead man betrayed by his own son. There were a scream then from the street outside, the desperate death wail of someone whose life was coming to a violent end. Vala spun from the door.
"Stay here."
An instant later she stepped into the pre-dawn light. In the street, a boy, perhaps 13, stood over the body of a female merchant. The boy held the smith's hammer, its head covered in pulp. What was left of the merchant's skull was strewn among the wares arrayed nearby on the ragged blanket. Vala thought of the fact that there had been no children among the bodies in the storehouse in Holbrook, and suddenly she understood. There was no children because they had all done the killing. Pawns doing the demon's bidding. For a brief instant, Vala was so shocked, so unsettled by the very idea, that she was off her guard, vulnerable. She came to her senses and continued to assess the situation. She must act soon, or die. The scream had drawn others out now as well, but Vala took special note of the little blonde-haired girl in a pink dress at the end of the thoroughfare. She held a crimson-stained knife in one hand and supported a bloody, ravenous-looking infant in the opposite hip. Her eyes were wide and bright. There was a creaking noise on the overlook above Vala's position, someone stepping out. But a short, high creak, indicating a person of light weight. Another child. The smith's boy was approaching Vala now with an open-mouthed smile. Two other kids appeared in the gathering, one small boy dragging a sheathed sword, and the older girl with a large stone held in both hands. Then, a final child, a fiery red-headed boy missing 2 front teeth, skipping with a hatchet in his right hand. A small crowd of 5 adults had emerged onto the street as well. A few faces peered from the windows.
"Anyone of a mind not to get hurt best get behind locked doors," Vala commanded from beneath her hood. "Now!"
The adults and the crowd complied. Belix stood at the window, watching. He would have considered the woman beautiful once, back when he cared about such things. Now, he saw only a harbinger of doom. It was known, where the demon hunters went, death followed. The townspeople had moved inside, but the children had stayed out, and they were positioning to attack. The smith's words came back to Belix. "My boy did this to me." What sort of madness had overtaken the world to turn children into butchers? And the woman, the demon hunter, surely she would kill him. A cloudburst of smoke exploded from the woman's feet and immediately billowed, obscuring her from sight. An instant later, a small form dropped down into the haze from the lookout above Belix's viewpoint. As the cloud began to clear, a hatchet flew end over end, missing the child who had jumped down by scant inches. Belix's head swiveled to see the figure rise and stand several feet away in the thinning, dark mist. It was her. The smoke had been a distraction executed by the hunter. Her wrist flicked, and the little red-headed boy who had skipped into view The traveler's boy, Bellic thought it must be, slapped a hand in his neck as if he had been bitten. Bellic's chest tightened.
She's killing them.
The smith's son, Kindle, rushed forward, eyes bulging, spit flying from his open mouth. He swung the hammer in a wide arc. The demon hunter stepped in, grabbed the boy's wrist, and turned into a swing, circling him around and sending him crashing into the boy Bellic didn't recognize, who was in the process of trying to pull out a sword that was larger than he was out of its sheath. The boy went flat on his back. The demon hunter snatched the hammer and swung it underhand, smashing the head into the bottom of Kindle's jaw. Teeth flew. The woman sidestepped, and Kindle toppled onto his face, out cold. A few feet away, the traveler's boy, hand still pressed to his neck, fell down in a heap. The demon hunter's hand flicked outward again, toward the child who had dropped from the lookout. Someone else Bellic didn't recognize, like the boy with the sword. Visitors from Holbrook, perhaps. Bellic's hand tightened into fists. Outside, 2 children rushed the woman. Samantha Hallstaff, bounding forward as if playing a game of kickball, waving a bloody dagger before her. And Bree Tunis, hefting a weighty stone above her head. Bellic had seen acrobats from the distant land of RX'd years ago in Chaldeum. They flipped and tumbled, somersaulted and cartwheeled, with an ease that was nothing short of incredible. The healer was reminded now of those acrobats as he watched the woman leap outward, tuck, roll into a ball, underhindered by the hard-edged plate mail she wore, landing behind Samantha. It was a blur of motion and almost too quick for the eye to follow. But most amazingly of all, after the demon hunters passing Samantha stood bound in a thin rope. Not far away, the stranger who had jumped out from the lookout collapsed, just as the traveler's boy had done.
Enough!
Bellic ran to the door and opened it as the demon hunter spun, swinging Samantha next to Bree, her movements impossibly fast, arms whipping like a flag snapping in a gale. When she was done, both girls were bound. Samantha's brother, little Raylan, was crawling forward, seemingly in an attempt to gnash his teeth at the demon hunter's leg. She lifted it up, drew her dagger.
No!
Bellic called out, and drove it through the back of the boy's shirt into the nearly supported beam, leaving the child kicking and flailing harmlessly. She turned and strode toward Bellic.
The children,
he breathed,
are alive. I used darts coated in a strong sedative. They're safe for now, and will remain so only with your help.
Bellic's fists unclenched. His shoulders sagged in relief.
You're surprised?
Vala asked.
It is said by some that your kind...
Bellic looked down.
Say it,
Vala challenged. Bellic summoned his courage.
Are no better than the demons, that your eyes burn with hellfire, that everywhere you go, death follows.
Vala stepped closer to Bellic, who stumbled backward.
It is said that when a demon peers into you, healer, into the deepest recesses of your mind, then you may peer back if you know how, and when you see only vengeance, only the hunt, and your eyes will burn with its obsession.
Bellic's lower lip quivered.
Your eyes, they don't burn.
Vala's features softened.
No, I live for more than just vengeance.
Vala turned.
Now, I need a place where the children can be held, separately.
The healer thought for a moment.
We got no more than 1 jail cell, but we got stables for the pack beasts. Stables could work, surely.